In this video, we're gonna give you 15 ripoffs, tourist traps, and scams around San Francisco, next on Jaycation. Hey, what's up, Jaycationers? Welcome back to another video here in the San Francisco series. And today we're gonna talk about 15 ripoffs, tourist traps, and scams around the Bay, the city by the Bay, San Francisco. And I'm gonna do it a little differently than my past ripoffs videos, and we're gonna do it by section. So we're gonna do ripoffs first, tourist traps second, and scams third. So let's start off with the first ripoff.
Let's talk about ripoffs when it comes to the Clipper card, which is basically the card that you use for all the transit here to use all the Muni rides like the BART and all the buses and stuff. The Clipper card you're gonna have to get. It's free if you just download the app and load money into the app. You wanna be a little frugal, save $3. To get a physical Clipper card, it's $3 to get and reload. Also, never buy a Clipper card off of a random person asking you for it. Like this is a Clipper card right here. If you need a physical one, then get it. But if you don't really need it, it's free on the app. You get to save $3. Just never buy it off of somebody because you're gonna get on the Muni and there won't be no money in it. So just watch out for that. There's a couple of people walking around in the BART stations asking you if you want to buy a Clipper card. Just buy it from the machine or download it in the app.
The next ripoff here in San Francisco is something we definitely got to talk about, and that is the parking rates. Parking rates here in downtown are ridiculous, and this right here behind me is the Pier 39 Fisherman's Wharf area parking lot, and it can be expensive. Ways to combat that is download the app called Spot Hero. I'll link that down below. Not sponsored, by the way. You can get parking passes for garages like this sometimes on that website for like $10 to $15 a day, and you don't have to pay the per hour rate that they have here. Ultimately, that'll save you some big bucks. I would definitely recommend just using the public transportation within the city. You can use the Muni. They have buses, they have cable cars, they have the BART, and all this other great transportation around the city, which will help you get around and save money. But when it comes to parking, you're getting ripped off. Just come in and park in here and paying the hourly rates. They can be upwards to like 50, 60 bucks, and it's definitely not worth it. Just be aware of the parking rates here in San Francisco. This isn't one of the 15 ripoffs, but we just passed by a CD guy once again. So CD guys are pretty much everywhere in the US. They give you the CD. If you grab it, they'll charge you 20 bucks. That guy would have asked us for money. He'll be like, I signed it, man. This is my new album.
Oh, okay.
But we didn't fall for it. Your next tourist trap slash ripoff is something that I would encourage you to do at least once. And it's $8 per ride if you ride it once, and that's the cable cars. You can take it all the way up to Powell Street or around the city. Definitely a fun thing to do, but if you're gonna use it as a main source of transportation to get around the city, I definitely don't recommend that, and that's where it falls into being a tourist trap and falls into being a ripoff. If you get the Clipper card and you use your Muni Pass, you can take the buses and the BART and the faster means of transportation. Just trust your Google Maps. It'll tell you what you should take. But this is like $8 a ride. Cable cars are still cool, so I still suggest you do it at least once. Next category, tourist traps. Now in San Francisco, most of the tourist traps I do recommend you going to. You watching this video doesn't mean you shouldn't go to these tourist traps. It's just the things you need to watch out for here that will make you spend that extra $20, $30 and make you feel like you got ripped off on this trip. So we're gonna talk about Pier 39 and Fisherman's Wharf. It's a beautiful area. You wanna come over here to Pier 39 and check out the seals, and go over to Bodine and check out their sourdough and try their clam chowder, or even go to the Buena Vista Cafe and get their Irish coffee. The tourist traps are within these areas. So Ripley's Believe It or Not, you have that in LA, you have that all over the world, and you're gonna spend extra money to go to Ripley's Believe It or Not, and that's usually what a tourist trap is. But if you're really into it, then go. I'm not stopping you. Places like that, go into chains like Applebee's. That's what tourist traps are. Now, restaurants over here are also very highly priced, but if you pick and choose the right places and do your research, find places you want to find certain foods that you want to try, like Dungeness crab or even clam chowder, then your money is more worth spending. Come into these areas like Pier 39, if you walk into the stores, prices are a little higher. If you want to pick up souvenirs for cheaper, you're going to want to go into the city, maybe even into Chinatown. And if you're going to pick up waters, maybe go into a CVS or a Safeway. That'll help you out a little more. So your next tourist trap is the Painted Ladies. Now, I would definitely encourage you to check out the Painted Ladies, but it's not for everybody. It's a little far into the city. You gotta take a ride over here, or it's gonna be a long walk. It's kind of difficult to use public transportation to get this way. The Painted Ladies, these Edwardian homes right here, this row of houses that overlook the city behind it, and you go to the park right across the street and check out the views and just enjoy the sun, I guess, when there is sun here in San Francisco. It's famous because of Full House. The thing that makes it a tourist trap is that's all there is. It's just the Painted Ladies and the view and this nice park. You can go to a bakery across the street and pick up some bread and some coffee in the morning, but there's not very much touristy things to do. So this becomes a tourist trap because there's really not much you can combine in the area. So I would say check out Painted Ladies if you've never been here before, and get your Instagram picture, get your shots, maybe even have a picnic over here. But it's a tourist trap because that's really all there is. It's just those Edwardian houses right behind me. All right, Jaycationers, so we just made it over here to the crookedest street. Now, it could be a tourist trap because if you're not in shape to walk up and down the hills, it's gonna get you out of breath. And also they have very narrow sidewalks, and driving through this thing is not the easiest thing at all. I remember driving my dad's old school Camry here, and it was kind of a challenge. We're at the top of Lombard Street. You could even take a cable car here. I would say go see it if you've never seen it, because it's a pretty interesting street, but that's really all it is. It's just a winding road in the middle of San Francisco, but hey, nice flowers, nice houses in the middle of it. So check out the crookedest street, even though it is a tourist trap here in SF. Your next tourist trap is not Alcatraz Island itself. It's actually the cruises that don't actually go to Alcatraz. If you want to check out this jail and check out the history of Alcatraz, there's only one Alcatraz cruise that will take you there, and that's Alcatraz City Cruises. I'm gonna link them down below. There's other ferries that go around the island but never stop at the island, and that's where the tourist trap is. It may be cheaper, you may be paying less, but you're not getting on the island. So if you are interested in the history to see everything about the island and its almost 30 years of operating, you're gonna want to take Alcatraz City Cruises here on Pier 33. We're boarding the Hornblower cruise. I got the first trip out, which is 8:40 in the morning, and I'll tell you a little thing about me getting ripped off $8. You're gonna wanna hear this. When booking your Alcatraz Island day tour, make sure you book it through cityexperiences.com, which is the Hornblower website. That's the only official direct website. It's usually $45 for adults. I thought it was this other website because when I Googled it, it showed up at the top, but don't always trust the top because on Google it shows ads. So I ended up paying an extra $8. It's still a legit ticket, but $8 I could have saved if I got it through City Cruises. And make sure you book early because especially on the weekends, it fills up and you only board like 30 minutes before your allotted time. So make sure you get here at the allotted time. They won't let you come early or later. The next obstacle or tourist trap is Carl the Fog. If you were trying to see the Golden Gate Bridge, especially in the morning or in a cloudy day, Carl the Fog creeps up. Yeah, that's right. Fog has a name here in San Francisco, and it's called Carl the Fog. Right now, the Golden Gate Bridge is covered in a fog. You can only see the top of the bridge. So it can be a ripoff because you feel ripped off being here for a short amount of time and not being able to see the Golden Gate Bridge, but it can also be a tourist trap because you're expecting to see a nice golden and shiny bridge, but all you get is a marine layer or a fog bank right over the bridge. Towards the end of the day, I think it clears up. On some days, it's different. You know, it really depends on the weather, but Carl the Fog, you're definitely a tourist trap and a ripoff combined. And there is Carl the Fog covering the Golden Gate Bridge right now. Your next tourist trap, I would have to say, unfortunately, is Union Square. Union Square used to be
a crazy shopping hub, and their Macy's there is popular, but it's apparently closing down real soon, if not already by the time this video comes out. There are a lot of stores there that are vacant. It's right next to the Tenderloin District, and that's exactly the area where the 49ers wide receiver got shot in broad daylight. Glad he's okay. Union Square is really something that you don't really need to cross off your list. You can see it if you pass through with the cable cars or something, but getting down and actually shopping, there's other options for shopping around the city. It's like the Marina area and 8th Street. Outside the city, they even have other shopping malls as well. Want to hit up the Filipino one? Go to Sierra Monte. Stick to the Embarcadero, Pier 39s and stuff.
So we did in fact make it over to Union Square, and the Macy's is still open even though it's supposed to be closing down at some point, and this is September 14, 2024, and the Nike is still there. It's just a different type of Nike. It's not a Nike town anymore. Another trap that tourists tend to walk into is misjudging the flat Google Maps and walking so many hills of this city. San Francisco is built on a hill, and at one point or another you're gonna have to be going up and down the steps or a steep hill. So my suggestion to you is try to Uber and Waymo as much as you can to different places like Painted Ladies. Definitely Waymo to that. If you want to go to Lombard Street, you're definitely going to be walking up and down a hill, so get your walking shoes. Just don't fall into the tourist trap of overly walking up hills, because that'll get you tired, that'll get you sore, and you just won't enjoy your time as much here. So we're making that a tourist trap, overly walking up the hill. This next tourist trap, unfortunately I can't show it to you behind me, so we had to settle for the Bay Bridge, is walking the Golden Gate Bridge and also driving through the Golden Gate Bridge. You want to see it. That's the most iconic thing. You want to see it. You don't need to be on it. And it's $10.25 to drive. That's the toll, $10.25 now to go across the Golden Gate Bridge. And to walk it is kind of long and it's kind of windy, and most of the time it's foggy over there. So you're gonna feel kind of like you fell into a trap walking the Golden Gate Bridge. So my advice to you would be go to the Presidio area or Golden Gate Park or Baker Beach and get the nicer views of the Golden Gate Bridge. Yesterday we were in Alcatraz and we only saw the top of the Golden Gate Bridge because of Carl the Fog. So watch out for that tourist trap, which is going on the Golden Gate Bridge by walking or driving through it. Another thing that I realized while I was here was that restaurants and bars, they already add like a 7 to 12% employee fee. And when you're going to pay, you'll see that fee down there. If you're at a full service restaurant and you want to tip 20%, you know, they're already taking auto 10 to 12%. Just know that that fee is in some places, adjust accordingly. The next scam is the fake parking citation. So basically, there's gonna be a fake parking citation put on your car and you pay this website, but it's not from the SFPD, it's from a scammer trying to get you with their credit card information and give them money. So beware of that. I have a picture of the real ticket I found online and the picture of the fake one. So make sure you just beware of the fake parking citation scams here in San Francisco. And also watch out for when you're paying at the meter and they have a QR code, make sure you're using the actual QR code of the meter, because sometimes people will just put stickers of a QR code and do the same thing. It's a scam to where you think you're paying your fare, but you're actually giving money to the scammer. So beware of the fake QR code stickers on parking meters, and also beware of the parking citation. Another crime, we're gonna put this under the scam category, is car theft and getting valuables stolen within your car. So parking within the city, it can get bad at some areas. So definitely don't leave your belongings in your car for somebody to see. There's been many broken windows in many occurrences around here, especially in the touristy areas, because they know that tourists leave their luggages and their valuables in their rental cars, and that's where they target all that theft. So definitely beware of car break-ins, and if you live here, you should know by now that it's gotten so bad that some people roll down their windows and leave a note saying, I got nothing here. They take out their registration and everything within the car so they could show the robber that there is nothing in the car. That's how bad it's gotten with car theft here in the city. But it's like that in a lot of other cities. That is one thing that is highlighted here within the Bay. They call this thing the BIP, which is your car gets broken into because you left something inside. So shoplifting has gotten so bad here that even things like acrylic nails have to be put behind glass and cupboards and locked up. So if you want this, you actually have to wait an extra few minutes, find somebody, track them down, have them open it, and they will get it, take it to the cash register, and you get to pay for it. But people usually will come in here with a trash bag, steal things less than 900 bucks and run away in a trash bag, unfortunately. Look at this whole place, almost more than 50% of it is behind a locked cabinet. Obviously shoplifting is bad, but this does affect tourists because you do have to wait a little longer to get that customer service to come and unlock this item for you. Even the hydration energy drink mix is behind the cupboard. Another travel tip is if you need waters and Gatorades and drinks for your room or even snacks, come here to CVS. This next tidbit is definitely a bonus. I don't know if it falls in the category of these three, but I wanted to talk about it in this particular video. Contrary to popular belief, it's not legal to urinate or do a number 2 on the streets. You will get fined, you will get arrested. People say that it's legal, but it's not. It's very much illegal. So yeah, you may see some feces walking through the Tenderloin or somewhere, some random street here, but it's definitely not legal. So debunk that for sure, and watch out for that because it's not dog poo. Sometimes it's human. Don't believe everything you hear. A few other tips that my cousin, who is a local San Franciscan, wanted me to mention. So unfortunately, fake homeless families around town. The cost of rent is also a problem, but that is for another video. And fake cleanliness during important events, which means they temporarily move the homeless to another area, but don't fix it permanently. He also has seen the New Orleans scam where somebody comes up to you and says, I'll bet you $10 I know where you got your shoes on your feet. All right, now pay up. So watch out for that, as well as pedicabs around the Ferry Building hiking prices up to go to different parts of the city. All right, Jaycationers, so that will do it for your 15 ripoffs, tourist traps, and scams around the Bay Area here in San Francisco. If there's anything else that I left off, this video is not meant to scare you. It's just meant to make you aware of things that you need to watch out for when you're visiting this beautiful city. And you watching this video is already you taking the extra step in making sure that your next trip here is a safe one and a positive experience. We want to bring positivity to the city, but we also want to make sure that you're aware of the crimes, ripoffs, and thefts, and bad things that go on around here. If you guys like this video, please give it a thumbs up. I'd really appreciate it. Like, comment, and subscribe. If you want to see me visit your city and do a ripoffs video, tourist traps, or scams, comment down below, and we'll see you guys in the next one. And in the words of me, stay traveling, San Francisco.